let's get into your favorite topic of the day and talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, so the Oscars, the nominations just got announced, and there's some controversy going on with the Oscars. There's always controversy, I feel like, with the Oscars.
Is it the Barbie controversy?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that too.
Okay.
But I thought, the Oscars are coming up. I've seen more than most years a good amount of the movies on here. Still not enough, and I'm gonna make it a point to watch a lot of these before the Oscars happen, and we can check in before the Oscars happen and be like, these are the ones after watching all of these are the ones that I think should happen, and I hopefully I can get Ian to do it too. But
you might be able to.
But I thought we'd go over some of the topics, some of the controversy, and kind of see where my thinking is, and maybe where Ian's thinking is about who might win, who we think should have gotten some of these spots, blah, 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 blah. So I wanted to first start off with Best Picture. There is, I believe, 10 spots. There's American...
It's a lot.
Yeah. They increased it over the past, 5 years or so to, include more movies. So there's American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. All of these I'm extremely interested in.
So I would say I'm very interested in 3 of those that I haven't seen. I think that's The Holdovers. Was Killers of the Flower Moon on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then crap, I'm forgetting the third one. But yeah, no, there's a few in there that I definitely want to see. Yeah.
So I think everybody and their mom is thinking Oppenheimer, and to be complete, no complaints. If I do feel,
I'd be shocked if it doesn't get it.
Now, to be fair, I've only seen Oppenheimer, past Poor Things.
Poor Things was the other one I want to see,
and Barbie. But I've heard great things about The Holdovers. I've heard.
Could you imagine though if Barbie wins it?
But here's the thing, that I wouldn't be disappointed either. I'd be like, I think there's a lot of people who take for granted what that movie is, and we've talked about it before on the podcast.
And maybe I'm one of them.
Now, I did just see Oppenheimer again in IMAX for the re-release.
Oh yeah,
and it is a masterpiece.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I think if I had to pick, I would say Oppenheimer. It's just probably one of the most exciting movies about people just talking that you'll ever see. So
true. Yeah. No disagreements here.
And then so move on to Best Actor. From here on out, it's about five nominations: Bradley Cooper, Maestro; Coleman Domingo, Rustin; Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers; Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer; and Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction. I've only seen one of these performers, so obviously I would say Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, but I have heard a lot of good things about Paul Giamatti and The Holdovers.
Yeah. I really do want to see that one.
And I really want to see that one as well.
So I am a little surprised though that Bradley Cooper was selected for this. I know there was a lot of controversy with his movie, and I don't know if you remember seeing that
because of the nose.
Yeah.
But it's a nose, and
no, I just know. I just didn't know if I didn't see the movie, so I don't know about it. But I didn't know if that was going to be a distracting element of the movie, and maybe it just doesn't get the critical acclaim that it would have if it didn't have such a distracting nose.
I think the main thing is it could be that people were saying it was distracting. My understanding was they thought it was kind of racist.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what I mean by people would be distracted by how racistly large the nose is.
I guess I like I said, I have to see the movie. I know that he spoke with the family and they expressed no problems with him with the nose.
Yeah,
but sure, but I don't know if the Oscars are willing to take off Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. They don't have any issues with with controversy, it would seem.
Sure.
So, but anyways, I would say Cillian Murphy, and I'm assuming Ian's going to say Cillian Murphy too.
Yep.
Best Actress, Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and then Emma Stone for Poor Things.
I've seen none of them.
You've seen none of them. I think it should go to Emma Stone. That was an incredible performance. I'm very excited to see the other performances here, especially Carey Mulligan and Lily Gladstone. But yeah, I mean, obviously I saw that movie. That was the only movie I saw, but
right.
I think if she's gonna get because I think she's gotten an Oscar, and if not, like,
has she?
I think
I don't
so.
know if she has.
But if not, this is a good one to put down there. Best Supporting Actor, which starts some of our controversy. Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon. I should mention Leonardo DiCaprio did not get a Best Actor nom. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling, Barbie, and then Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. So, I've seen 3 of these performances. When I think about supporting a cast, like adding to the movie, I would definitely say that Robert Downey Jr. is probably the front runner because he didn't steal the show, but he did. But he also just blended into the story so well.
Yeah, like to me, that's a true supporting character. In my mind, like Mark Ruffalo's and Poor Things, like that to me seems more like a very main character type. Like he's around for the movie a lot, from what I assume.
He's in it a good bit, but not the entire thing for sure.
And I would also say that maybe about Robert De Niro's character, even though I haven't seen it. From what I gather, it feels like he's a major character in the movie. I'm not saying like Robert Downey Jr. isn't, but for a lot of the movie, you don't see him. You know, he's not a foreground character.
So I would love for Robert Downey Jr. to get it, so he can have some more success post Iron Man.
I mean, I think just without him getting it, even him being nominated, him being in this movie, like he'll get it. You know, like he doesn't need an Oscar for it.
Right. Now, I think that Ryan Gosling more so kind of stole the show. But I love Ken so much.
If anything, like out of all of those roles, he feels like a main character than a supporting. Right.
And he probably won't get it. But
probably not.
But I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah. Is that your pick then?
It's the one I would like, but the one that I feel like people are leaning towards is probably Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
But I mean, it was Ken. I don't. Anyways, so that's how I feel about that. Best Supporting Actress: Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, which was interesting, Jodie Foster, Naiad, and then Davine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. I've heard a lot of people say Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers is like a sure thing. Like there's no way anybody else is getting that.
Okay.
I thought,
what was the first one you said again?
Emily Blunt with Oppenheimer.
Oh, yeah. That was also a little surprising. I'm not sure I would have said that was like a really great performance, even though I think it's a really good one.
Well, actually, it's funny. Like when I first came out of Oppenheimer, I was like, oh, Emily Blunt doesn't seem like she did very much. After watching it a second time, she did so much.
No, I disagreed with you then. That I still think she's an important part of it. I just don't know if that's her strongest role for me that she's done. You know,
I thought she did a great job as Kitty.
Yeah, I agree.
And then America Ferrera with Barbie, I just thought was so interesting because there has been a track record of Oscars going to supporting actress or supporting actor roles where they're not in the movie very much. Most notably for me, Anne Hathaway in Les Mis. She's in it for her scene. And, for maybe like 9 minutes of the movie, if less. And she did her song. and she got the Oscar. You know, she was not around very much. And you know, like a lot of that movie's ideology came down to that America Ferrera, you know, what is a woman,
that speech.
And she's also like the catalyst to the story. You know, she's causing Barbie to feel all these things.
She's important for sure.
I was a little shocked. I was a little surprised. I won't say shocked. I was a little surprised because in my head, I wasn't thinking that. But you
weren't thinking, oh, stellar performance, you know.
But I appreciate it. Until I see the holdovers, I'm going to say Emily Blunt. But that's where I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Now, which we kind of brushed past it. Best Actress, Margot Robbie. But we have Ryan Gosling for Ken.
Right.
How do you feel about the exclusion of Margot Robbie on not being nominated?
So I would say that, like, I think her performance is maybe like a little bit better than his in the movie. If I'm like trying to compare and judge, I can't necessarily complain too much since I haven't seen the other 5 movies that are in that category. I think if I saw them, maybe I would say, oh, well, you know, those 5 deserve it more. Like those 5 actresses deserve more than her. You know, I think maybe it's not a case of utter discrimination. It's just that the guys category maybe wasn't as strong for supporting actor, and maybe the women's best actress was stronger. I don't know. But it does seem odd for him to be nominated and for her not to be.
It does.
I will say that. Yeah.
Ryan was expressing like there's no Ken without Barbie.
Yeah. I saw his letter.
And here's the thing. I think that I've not seen a majority of the best actress roles. Right. I think that's the only one I've seen. The only one I saw was Emma Stone.
Poor things, right?
When I watch Barbie, her performance is more nuanced and subtle than that of Ryan Gosling's Ken.
For sure.
But I didn't think that it was one of Margot's like stronger roles. But there's a lot of people who do associate her with like as Barbie now.
Sure.
And
I would definitely say she has other better roles, but this is definitely a really good one.
I feel like she should have been included. Even though maybe I didn't necessarily think like it was one of her best performances, I still think that considering like Barbie got all these awards, best movie, best supporting actor, best soundtrack, best supporting actress with America Ferrera, like she should have at least gotten, put in it, and maybe I'll change my mind after I see the performances from the other women in the category.
Right.
It's just maybe I didn't love it, but it feels a little fucked up, especially like a movie about Barbie with everything that it talks about, yet the man in the movie gets nominated, Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, if you look at it that way, it's really messed. Yeah. Also, Greta Gerwig not being nominated is a huge.
So we move on to best.
I think if anything, out of everybody involved with that movie, she's the one who needs to be nominated.
Right. So we move on to best director, and the Greta Gerwig one is the one that makes me the most angry. Like I am actually very upset. You have Jonathan Glazer, The Zone of Interest, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Justin Triet, Anatomy of a Fall. Now, I know there's only 5 spots. So, out of the 2 movies I've seen on there, I haven't seen the other ones. I don't know if I'd want to knock them off, but like...
Did I hear you right? Was that all male directors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's another... Yep.
Unless Justine is a woman, I don't know. But I thought it might be Justin. I don't know. But Barbie was all direction, and it's the highest grossing movie of the year. People love that movie, but for some reason we can't give Greta Gerwig a best director. I just feel so like she's been one of the most like out of all these directors in recent memories. Like there are people dressing up as Greta Gerwig like behind the scenes as their Halloween like costumes. She's so present and popular with a lot of people our age, and an important director. And yet like the movie that has arguably put her in more of the mainstream than ever, and she did a fantastic job, they don't give her a best director, which is, I mean, I would
argue more that it's a shame that like this movie that was basically 100% her vision that she cooked, like doesn't, like, you know, other people get nominated for their performances, but not the actual, you know, visualization of it. And I would not necessarily agree with like the point where like, oh, well, she's super popular, because like it shouldn't be a popular contest. But yeah, no, I do think, it's a shame that somebody who created the whole thing and created it really well doesn't get to have that nomination.
What I want to say about the popularity thing is I think she's popular because she's made really good work.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is, let alone you see that and it's like, you know, because you don't see directors, you know, like you can be a pop star and maybe make subpar music, but like you, and you can be popular, but you don't see directors making subpar movies getting, you know, attention the way that she does, or like Martin Scorsese does. Like you have to make good, like you are popular because of your work and then your personality on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Nolan is only now just getting recognized in public from what I hear. So like the fact that it took him, that's what Robert Downey Jr. said. That's
he's being recognized in public. Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay. I see what you're saying. That is wild.
Yeah, isn't it? I'm just like, how did it take this long for people to realize what he looks like, or like for him to get this popular?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I am a huge Christopher Nolan fan, and I would love for him to get his best director.
Yeah, I can't believe
Oscar.
He's only been nominated once, and this is his second time. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, the Oscars have a very hard time with putting science fiction and superhero things in their movies, so...
Yeah, that's true. This is his most normal movie to date, in a way. So maybe Dunkirk would have gotten nominated. Maybe I would have thought that, but
so yeah, I mean, I would love for Christopher Nolan to get it. You know,
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Best animated feature film: The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
So it's what I will say about this one, real quick. A huge snub for Mutant Mayhem. Humongous.
Oh, yeah.
Gigantic snub. I'm shocked it's not on there. I saw it on a ton of people's prediction Oscars that it would have been on there, and it was not.
You're right.
Crazy.
You're right.
Yeah.
I gotta agree with you. That is a big snub. I didn't even really think about that. But this one, I feel like is a no-brainer. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think what realistically will probably happen is Boy and the Heron.
It shouldn't get it. I'm sorry. It's not that good. It's not that good.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Did the first one get nominated? Did it win? Do you know?
Yeah.
Did it won its category?
I believe so, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so it has a good chance for sure. I wasn't sure if they would snub it again for like, you know, being a superhero movie. But yeah, it could definitely win.
It's an amazing movie, amazingly put together. It's so creative. It's
a really good Spider-Man movie. I'll give it that.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah. We, you know, I have some problems with the structure.
Right.
That's all.
Right. Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Now, this one also makes me mad. Everything. I don't know why people have such an issue with Barbie. Adapted screenplay. Adapted. by the way. Not original, adapted. American fiction. Barbie, which we'll talk about. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, how was that?
Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. So, the Writers Guild of America, most every other award show has put Barbie as original screenplay, but for some god
awful reason.
Reason. The Oscars have put it under adapted, which makes absolutely no sense to me.
So I was Oppenheimer based off of like a book? Is that
it's based off of American Prometheus?
Okay. I don't think I knew that.
Like,
but maybe I did, because wasn't it Pattinson that gave Christopher Nolan that book? I think it was.
It might have been.
Yeah,
but
I think it might have been.
like how the movie starts, and they even reference it in the movie, like, you're the American Prometheus. You're the one who gave them the fires.
Remember,
that they
I
used
came
to destroy
in late,
themselves. Oh,
so I didn't see that.
Okay, you haven't seen it since the time we saw it.
We saw it together.
Or I didn't see it with you. So you've only seen it the one time.
Yeah,
okay.
I've only seen it one time. Yeah. Yeah, that's it is interesting.
Because
I don't
it's
think
a
I would've-
toy line.
I mean, it's not like she based it off of any storyline that existed beforehand.
Exactly.
Like, I don't see how you can say that's adapted.
And she also created these characters' personalities.
Right.
It's so ridiculous.
So, yeah,
I just feel like
she probably wouldn't even want to win that award. I mean, I don't know if I would.
I just feel like it's just such a slap in the face to Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig that, like, not that like adapted screenplays aren't great in their own ways, because they are, but like, it was like, it feels like this was from the ground up, like a whole brand new story that was being told. And to be like, oh yeah, well, it's adapted because it's a toy.
Right.
I don't understand it.
That's such a loose definition of adapted.
Like, yes, there were movies made, like animated movies. Right. But they were like Rapunzel and like the Nutcracker.
Right. It wasn't anything like the movie or any of the characters from. I mean, yes, it's Barbie and Ken, but it's like that's the only thing you can say is adapted. Is like you got the characters from a toy line that were also made movies out of. Like, I don't know. They're being super nitpicky with that. That's really, really odd.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I had, and here's the thing. With that being said, if Barbie's on the list for adapted screenplay versus Oppenheimer, I'm going to say Barbie, because Oppenheimer.
That's odd.
Why?
I mean, but Oppenheimer's the adapted. Like, we were just saying that's not the adapted.
But
so why would you give it to it?
Because because it deserves. If you're putting it in this stupid category that it doesn't belong in, I'd rather it get it.
It deserves a award for screenplay.
Like, it's getting fucked. And I will say that the script for Barbie is so imaginative and creative. And I think that the screenplay for Oppenheimer is amazing. I wouldn't give it to Poor Things. Poor Things is kind of a bit odd with that. But
here's the thing, though. Like, is Barbie like actually truly getting fucked at the Oscars? Because like it's already nominated for 3 categories. Like, that is pretty big for any movie.
But you have the director gone, and you have the lead actress gone.
Yeah.
And now you're fucking it on the screenplay.
Yeah.
When all the rest of these are based off of books.
You're not wrong.
Anyways, I would like it to go to Barbie because it's being absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
And I also think it's a great screenplay. I think it's truly what they did was amazing. So that's what I'll say. What do you think? I'm assuming you're going to say Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I would just say Oppenheimer. Okay. Yeah.
Original screenplay. I've not seen any of the movies, so I can't really say anything about it. So we can kind of skip that one. Visual effects. The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Maybe not Part 1 anymore. And then Napoleon.
I think you're going to say Godzilla.
No.
No. Okay. So what? The creator?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little surprised.
I didn't like the creator, but those effects felt so realistic and well done that I did feel immersed and I did believe what I was seeing. I just didn't like the movie.
I would love to give this one to Guardians, but I would agree with you. I think the creator is like near perfect visuals, and I think unfortunately we've seen other Guardians movies maybe look even better than Guardians 3. So not that Guardians 3 looks bad at all. I'm just saying like it's nothing like crazy new. And I think the creator is a new type of, maybe not new type of genre of like visualization, but it is fresh, you know?
Right.
So,
and I think like Guardians of the Galaxy, I would love for like the people who made like Rocket and his friends. I mean, those animals looked great. Like they really did. And
yeah, maybe that's where you should kind of put your vote into, is the animal section of it. Same with the I'm forgetting the guy's name. The villain.
Oh,
the effects on like his face were incredible.
The High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would be happy with Guardians, and I'd be happy with the creator. Godzilla, I'm kind of surprised because, to be honest, there's some scenes in there where it was like that didn't look particularly great.
Okay, interesting.
But it's a great movie.
Yeah,
and there are some really good visual effects for sure. But I would have even argued, like, I feel like people would troll on it, but like, you could put the Flash in there, you know, and like
I'm sorry, you can't. Look, people, I think people have a right to complain about the last portion of that movie.
I know.
And it is visually, it's not great. It is kind of a mess at points. So I think just because of that portion, I think I have to, and here's the thing. I think there are like some scenes where you're like, okay, I mean, this is like, it's not like horribly clearly CGI, but it's like, you can tell the baby going into the microwave is a CGI baby.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like there are some moments,
but it's not, you know? It's not necessarily like visual effects don't necessarily have to be like the lifelikeness about it. It just has to enhance the story. It has to do its job. And I had fun with it. I enjoyed the visual effects of the Flash.
Yeah, I did too. Like 90 to 95% of that movie, I think, has really great visual effects. But yeah, there are some moments where it just falls short. Probably like Godzilla.
Yes. And then I'll try to get through these pretty quickly because I know we're running long on it. Original score, American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
They nominated that because it was John Williams. That's it.
Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Incredible.
One of the best scores I've probably ever heard. So
it's in memes. It's so good. Original song, It Never Went Away from American Symphony. I'm Just Ken from Barbie. What Was I Made For from Barbie. The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot. And Wazahazi, a song for my people from Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm sorry if I fucked that up. What Was I Made For with Barbie. That movie, that song is the epitome of what that movie is about. It's beautiful. It deserves to win. I love I'm Just Ken, but What Was I Made For is the true like pinnacle of that movie.
Weirdly, that song, like the What Was I Made For, doesn't stick out as well in my mind as just like I'm Just Ken. But I could agree with you. I don't have a problem with that one winning. Although I do have a feeling that song from Killers of the Flower Moon is gonna like be amazing. So maybe I'll change my mind once I see that.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It's on Apple, so I think I'm gonna try to watch it this weekend.
Dude, you gotta send me that login info.
I will, or we can watch it this Friday potentially.
I would love that.
Cinematography: El Condi, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Oppenheimer. Yep. Poor Things. It's got some really interesting cinematography, but at times it's a little distracting. So I'll just say that. Costume design: Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I would say Barbie. I thought the costume design.
Sure. Yeah. No, that was great. Yeah.
Film editing, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things.
I've only seen one. So
yeah, I mean,
my vote.
But like, I would just say in general, the editing in Oppenheimer is orgasmic.
It is.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Sound, The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, Zone of Interest.
Oppenheimer.
I'm sorry.
The sound in that movie, I can't get over it.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
And then lastly, production design, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. This one's tough, but considering
it could be Barbie.
I want to go with Barbie.
Wait, was Poor Things in there?
Yes.
I mean, from what I see,
but the production design of Poor Things is also incredible.
It looks incredible, right? So maybe that deserves it. I don't know.
Because I could give it to Oppenheimer too, because I believed that we were in, what was that town in New Mexico that they built the Manhattan Project? Like I believed we were there.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think the other two are like definitely maybe more of a challenge and more of a creative overtaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely think Oppenheimer deserves to be in that nominee list.
Yeah. And that's all of the Oscars. So,
nice.
Like I said, I'm going to try to watch the majority of these and then check in before the awards show comes on.
Yeah, I'll try and watch some of these with you as well.
Cool.